In a world of fantasy, a young girl is seen wearing makeup but looking sad as she's about to be auctioned off to some rich men. When the auction starts, a price tag is placed on her and the rich men start placing their bids. Sitting at the back of the room is the woman responsible for the event. She tells her assistant that the men are not paying enough for the girls and expects them to pay more. The assistant reminds her that the girls are being bought off due to their demand and importance. Moments later, the next girl on the list is called to the stage so that she can be auctioned off too. The announcer tells the men all the important features about the girl, and this makes the buyers more interested in her. Due to her importance, her bidding price is also greater than the rest. Just as the bid starts rolling in, the girl starts thinking about how bad the organizers and rich people are. At this point, it becomes obvious that the young girl is undercover at the auction. She promises not to hold back while punishing the evil men. She casts a spell, summons a rifle, and opens fire on everybody in the room. One of the security guards hears the commotion from the other room and tries to intervene, but he's stopped by another young girl who has been pretending to be the caretaker. She grabs the keys and hands them over to the rest of the girls so that they can free themselves and escape. Together, the duo weaves off all the bodyguards. They cast a spell that causes a massive explosion that destroys most of the building. Outside the building, two other assassins are waiting to take out any escaping members of the fraternity who are responsible for human trafficking. Suddenly, the movie transitions into a modern world where a professional assassin and his apprentice are taking out some mafia members. After taking out 6 members of the mafia, the assassin stands up to go, but his apprentice objects and says they can easily wipe out the entire mafia group. The assassin reminds his apprentice that the organization they are working for instructed them to take out only 6 members. Just as the duo is about to leave the scene, the assassin spots a surveillance drone locking on their position. The duo enters their van and starts driving off on high sped, while a group of assailants follows them in armored vehicles. The two make a plan to distract their assailants and jump out of the van without them having a clue. The plan works successfully and the duo are able to deceive their assailants that they have died in a vehicle explosion. After sorting out a suitable location to spend the night before continuing the next morning, the apprentice asks the assassin why he became an assassin. The assassin lets it out that he was born and raised by the organization, thus making him the perfect tool for them. After teaching his apprentice a good lesson about not trusting anyone, the duo decides to sleep. The next day, the assassin gets his next instructions from the organization. After obtaining their fake passports, the assassin and his apprentice board a plane heading to Japan to meet up with the organization's chapter located there. While in the air, the plane starts suffering from serious turbulence, and the assassin soon realizes that the organization is trying to eliminate him because he is finally set to retire. He is amazed that the organization is willing to kill lots of innocent people just to get rid of him. He goes to the front of the plane and realizes that nothing can be done to save the plane. Just then, a fighter jet approaches and fires a missile at the plane. While in a state of regret and mixed emotions about his decisions, the assassin is suddenly pulled into a crystallized room where he meets with a goddess. The goddess says she's willing to reincarnate the assassin to a fantasy world and he gets to keep all his memories from this world. However, there is a catch. The assassin would be tasked to eliminate the hero of the fantasy world. The goddess asks the assassin if he's willing to accept the task, and he says yes. The goddess grants the assassin every bit of knowledge he needs for the fantasy world he is going to be born. Upon seeing that the hero is a valorous man, the assassin asks why he needs to terminate him. The goddess then explains the details of the task to him. She says 16 years after the assassin is reincarnated, the hero will defeat the demon lord, but will soon get overwhelmed with his own power and throw the world into a state of chaos. Due to this, the assassin needs to defeat the hero at age 18. With the knowledge he received, the assassin realizes that the hero is the definition of exceptions when it comes to magic and power in the fantasy world. He lets it out that he's worried about facing such a powerful being with just his standard abilities. The goddess then tells him that he will also grant the assassin 5 skills that he can use in battling the hero. The assassin asks if he can terminate the hero earlier, but the goddess warns him that the hero needs to eliminate the demon lord first because he's the only one capable of defeating the demon lord. The assassin is then free to get rid of the hero once he defeats the demon lord, not anything before that. After asking all the necessary questions, the goddess grants the assassin the opportunity to choose 5 skill cards of his choice, with each coming from different ranks. With a total of 123,851 skills available, the assassin is only allowed to pick 5 from each rank, whereas the hero is born with 30 skills. This means he will have to face off with the hero with just 5 skills, while the hero boasts 30 strong skills. Choosing from the S rank, the assassin chooses the skill of Rapid Recovery. From the A rank, the assassin chooses the Spellweaver skill, which grants him the ability to create new spells. From the B rank, he chooses the skill that grants him limitless growth. From the C rank, the assassin chooses Martial Arts. And lastly, from the D rank, the assassin chooses the attribute to bend elements like fire, water, air, earth, light, and dark, making a total of 6 element attributes. However, most people are born with just the ability to bend one element, but he will be able to have his way with the available 6. After making his picks, the goddess says it's time for the assassin to be reborn. He will be born into the noble house of Tuatha Dé, who makes their living as assassins. Soon afterward, the house of Tuatha, consisting of the father, Cheyenne, and mother, Esri, welcomes a new baby boy. Cheyenne decides to name his baby boy Lugh. He vouches to train Lugh in the way of the assassins and also make sure no harm comes to him. He promises Esri that Lugh will not die like their first son, Ruff. 7 years later, Lugh is seen hunting in the woods. He seems very capable and efficient with his skills, but he doesn't know how to use his magic just yet. Lugh returns home after successfully killing a rabbit, which he then makes for soup. His parents are amazed by his cooking skills, but little did they know that Lugh is always preparing his meals with the right amount of nutrients he needs to grow stronger and better in preparation for his battle against the hero. After eating, Lugh goes to meet his father in the training room. His father usually examines his body structure in order to know the stage of training. In addition to carrying out assassinations for the royal families, House Tuatha are also medical experts. Cheyenne teaches Lugh both assassination techniques and medical techniques so that he can become the heir to the house in the near future. In addition, Cheyenne will also be giving Lugh the Mystic Eyes of Tuatha Dé. The Mystic Eyes consist of a magical surgery that is performed on the eyes to improve his ability and vision to observe mana. It also helps to see greater in low light. Soon afterward, the surgery is carried out on Lugh's eyes, and it turns out to be a success because Lugh can now see the world from a different view. He can also observe people's mana with his new ability. To add to Lugh's excitement, Cheyenne tells him that a magic mentor is coming over to start teaching him how to make use of his magic abilities. A week later, a young mage named Dia Vicone arrives to teach Lugh how to master his magic abilities. Lugh is surprised to see such a young lady as his mentor, but is convinced when he sees the kind of power Dia wields. The next day, Lugh respectfully greets her mentor as a sign of honor, but Dia shrugs him off and says she's only 3 years older than him. She reveals her excitement about working with Lugh for the next 2 weeks. Dia then gives Lugh a white, transparent stone which she calls a far stone. The stone is used to store mana, and she asks Lugh to project some of his mana into the stone so as to measure his magical capabilities. Lugh starts to fill the stone with so much mana that Dia is beyond surprised that Lugh is filled with such power. He fills the stone with mana up to the extent that it was dangerous to hold, and Dia quickly tells him to throw the stone as far away as possible. Lugh uses his strength to throw the stone to a great distance, but the explosion caused by it can still be felt all over the area, including Tuatha's estate. The explosion attracts Lugh's parents, and Dia informs them that Lugh was responsible for the massive shake they just experienced. Hearing this, Cheyenne shows his happiness and says he is pleased with his son. After his parents' departure, Lugh asks Dia if he could get more far stone, but Dia says the stone is sacred to where she came from and they don't just hand it out to strangers. Later that night, Lugh contemplates how he can get his hands on more stones. The following morning, Dia is ready to train Lugh on his attributes about the elements. She tests for fire and realizes that Lugh has an affinity for fire. She soon realizes that Lugh has an affinity for more than 2 elements, which is the usual norm. She starts teaching Lugh to materialize elements from his spells. She says a spell and creates copper, but when Lugh tries, it is badly formed. Dia assures him that the only thing he needs is practice and the correct way to pronounce his spells. Lugh and Dia keep working together, and Lugh is now capable of forming better elements with his spells. Just then, Lugh figures out that you can also create your own spell without waiting for inspiration from God. He uses the atomic weight and melting points of the elements to create a spell that is able to form the materials intended like iron and the like. Dia is excited by this discovery, but the duo soon realizes that Dia can't use the spell created by Lugh unless it is transcribed in a certain way for her. The spell seems so powerful for her while it takes nothing from Lugh. Lugh can do this because of his skill to create new spells. As days go by, the duo starts creating spells to make weapons such as rifles. Lugh creates a spell to create a projectile launcher that is so powerful that Dia starts wondering what Lugh is training for. On the eve of her departure, Lugh makes a beautiful, sharp titanium blade for Dia as a goodbye gesture. Dia makes Lugh promise to come to visit her when she wants to see him, and he agrees. Lugh thanks her for being a good mentor to him, and Dia also gives him a far stone in return. After Dia's departure, Cheyenne takes his son on a ride to the prison where criminals who are on death row are being held. Lugh asks Cheyenne why he didn't raise him to suppress his emotions, and Cheyenne says they are not tools. Cheyenne says they have the right to deny any assassination request, which doesn't seem to benefit the kingdom. He adds that their only purpose is to serve the kingdom and not to be a killing tool for the royal families. Cheyenne takes Lugh into one of the cells and asks her to eliminate a woman who has been sentenced to death. At first, the woman begs for mercy, but when she realizes that Lugh is showing no sign of hesitation, she shows her true color of being an evil and wicked human. Lugh confidently terminates her with one of the very sharp blades which he created so the prisoner won't feel any pain as she dies. 3 years later, Lugh and his parents visit the town's market to check on the traders and market people. Esri still treats Lugh like a baby, and Lugh doesn't appreciate it, but when Esri pretends like she's crying, Lugh agrees to eat cakes with her just like they did when he was younger. Lugh's cream soup recipe is also doing well in the market, and people love to buy it. As they tour the market, Lugh also uses the opportunity to try and find a young person with mana who can be his assistant. He scans the crowd with his mystic eyes but couldn't find a suitable person. This keeps getting him worried because he needs to kill the hero within the next 8 years. Later on, Lugh goes on a hunting trip in the woods. He senses a pack of wolves stalking their prey and decides to steal their prey from them. To his utmost surprise, Lugh discovers that the wolves were hunting a young lady. Lugh quickly interferes and eliminates the pack of wolves with ease. Lugh asks the young lady how she ended up in the woods. The girl explains that she comes from a poor region and she got a hint from a traveler who tells her that the Tuatha region is wealthy. Lugh takes pity on her. He makes a fire, gives her his jacket, and also cooks a pot of porridge so that she can eat. After she's done eating, Lugh lets it out that he's the son of Cheyenne, who is the head of the Tuatha house. Lugh tells the girl that he needs her for his work. Lugh confesses that he has killed people but notes that it's for a good cause. Lugh shares this secret with her in an attempt to make her trust him. After hearing that Lugh needs her, the girls get excited and more comfortable working for Lugh. The duo then introduces each other, and the girl's name turns out to be Tart. It is now obvious that Lugh wanted Tart because she possesses mana, and this is what he's been looking for. In a cut scene, it is revealed that the goddess has reincarnated a special forces soldier 40 years earlier into that world in a bid to defeat the hero. The goddess tracks the soldier's progress, but finds out that he's not working towards his goal. This reveals to us that Lugh isn't the only one in the fantasy world tasked with defeating the hero. It's 2 years later and Lugh is now 12 years old. Tart has also grown to be Lugh's personal assistant. She cooks a meal for the family, and Lugh's parents appreciate her for her services. After breakfast, Lugh invites Tart to the training room and inspects her just like his father once did to him. He uses his observations to track Tart's growth and the next training course. In just 2 years, Tart has improved well in her training and her abilities to become an assassin. However, Tart is only good with a spear and doesn't do well with knives. This gives Lugh a big concern because assassins are meant to carry concealable weapons. After a thought session, Lugh comes up with the idea to conjure a spear that can also fold into the size of a knife. Tart practices with this weapon and performs brilliantly. Lugh and Tart keep getting closer to each other as the day goes by. On the other hand, Dia is feeling lonely and she misses Lugh. A quick revelation also shows that a samurai was reincarnated into the fantasy world 35 years earlier. Checking his progress, the goddess realizes that he is also not doing well. Continuing with our protagonist, Lugh and Tart visit the town's market, and everybody is happy to see Lugh. They give him gifts as an appreciation for his help in creating new spells that help their crops to grow better with more yield. Lugh also renders help for livestock farmers who have issues with their animals. On their way home, Tart is surprised to see the large number of gifts that were given to Lugh. Lugh explains to her that it is very important for a leader to win the heart of his followers. Lugh says he hopes to have a good relationship with the people because he will get to be the town's head one day. Upon getting home, Lugh goes to his wardrobe and brings out a bag containing a large quantity of far stones. Lugh reveals that he was able to create new stones after studying the one that was given to him by Dia. He has since then been storing his mana in the stones in case he needs them for weapons later in the future. Shortly afterward, Cheyenne summons Lugh to the training room. Cheyenne asks about the progress report on Tart and Lugh replies that Tart has been performing exceptionally well. Lugh also clears his father's doubt about Tart. He assures his father that Tart is not a spy sent by the neighboring region to collect information about Tuatha. However, Lugh is still a bit cautious because Tart arrives just when he was looking for an assistant with mana. After their discussion about Tart, Cheyenne informs Lugh that he has another test for him. Cheyenne says the performance of Lugh in the test will determine if he will be fully initiated into the family's assassination business. Lugh accepts the challenge and says he's ready for the test. Lugh's next test will be to fight his father, but Cheyenne assures him that it doesn't matter if he loses or not. All he needs to do is to assess Lugh's abilities and capabilities. The duo meets up in the forest to fight and try to outclass each other. Lugh tries to gain the advantage on Cheyenne, but he keeps failing. Cheyenne keeps coming at Lugh with surprise attacks that keep forcing him to evade at the last minute. Just then, Lugh realizes that his father is predicting his movements, breathing, and muscle and bone movement to judge his attacks. Lugh then couples the experience from his past life and the skills he learned from the Tuatha to trick his father. His father launches an attack, but Lugh is ready and he manages to counter the attack. He uses the counter to gain an advantage over his father and gives his father no choice but to concede the defeat. After the test, Cheyenne praises his son for defeating him without using his magical abilities. He finally reveals to Lugh that him being able to restrain from using his magic and relying solely on his strength is the actual test. Due to his success in the test exercise, Lugh starts helping out his father on his assassination tasks. Together, the duo takes out several corrupt noblemen. They make use of different techniques when carrying out their task. Soon afterward, Lugh and his father visit a nobleman to provide medical aid for him. On their way back, Lugh points out that Cheyenne was only there to assess the nobleman's security details. Cheyenne agrees and says he does this in preparation for an assassination task. Cheyenne reveals that an assassin also makes use of different identities when trying to infiltrate a target's castle. Lugh's father says he has arranged a fake identity for him with the owner of a respectable trading company called Balor. The identity was created at the same time when Lugh was born, and Balor agreed to this because he was owing Cheyenne a favor. Lugh is to stay with Balor as his son for 2 years. He will be known as Ilig Balor during his time there. After his time with Balor, Lugh would have gotten the identity of a merchant, and this will give more access to the target's homes and castles. Before sending his son away for his final test, Cheyenne calls together the branch families and reveals to them that Lugh will become the next head of the house after him. However, a young man, Rona, from one of the branch families comes forward to oppose this. Cheyenne proposes a duel between Rona and Lugh defeats him quite easily. Rona concedes defeat and accepts Lugh as the next head of the house. Later, Lugh pays Rona a visit and promises to make him his subordinate when he becomes head of the house. Rona then pledges to train harder to become a knight instead of an assassin before the time comes. Lugh gives him a sword as a departing gift. Shortly afterward, Lugh leaves on his new adventure to train and have the identity of a merchant. Tart also accompanies him to the merchant town called Melatu. Before his incorporation into the Balor family, Lugh dyes his hair black from the usual shining silver. He does this to avoid any suspicion about his ties with Tuatha. Now in the merchant town of Melatu, a group of orphaned girls are working as tourist guides. They take tourists around the town and show them where they would like to visit. In return, the tourists pay them some amount of money, and this is what these orphaned girls are using to sustain themselves. Some of the girls' names are Maha, Ifa, Noin, and Carrie. The girls retire home early because of the rain. As the group discusses how to attract customers and make more money, some strange-looking men appear out of nowhere. They attack the girls, and Maha, who possesses mana, activates her mana to hold off the men, but she wasn't strong enough and was easily captured. The rest of the group is also captured, and they are transported to an orphanage. The orphanage's director, Mr. Torin, warns the girls to follow all his instructions or get ready to face the consequences. One of the girls tries to protest that they were doing just fine on their own, but Torin punches her in the face to keep her quiet and instill fear in the rest. The girls are kept in a room and given some potatoes and carrots to eat for a whole week. The group makes a meal and laments that they even get to eat more when they are on their own. As days go by, the men start using the girls for hard labor and also beat them without care. Soon afterward, a nobleman, Viscount Hermel, comes over to inspect the girls. He makes his pick and pays Torin to bring the girl to him at his hotel. That night, Aoife is called upon to prepare and meet with Hermel. Upon her arrival, Aoife looks dejected and sad. She runs to a corner to cry, while Maha stays in the distance to comfort her. This became a regular routine for Aoife, and Torin even uses her for his own pleasure whenever he deems fit. Later on, most of the girls are also added to the routine. One night, Noin takes a sickle and disfigures her face in an attempt to prevent rich men from buying her and having their way with her. 2 years later, Maha overhears Torin and his assistant having a conversation about her. Torin plans to use Maha for pleasure because she's now 12 years old. Upon hearing this, Maha takes the sickle and attempts to destroy her face, but a voice stops her. She looks back and sees Lugh looking at her. Lugh convinces her not to go through with it. Lugh, who is now known as Illig, son of Lord Balor, enters the orphanage to purchase one of the girls. He chooses Maha because of her mana. He pays Torin the purchasing fee, but Torin says Lugh can only come for Maha after 3 days. Torin plans to make money with Maha during the 3 days and also have fun with her. That night, Torin prepares Maha for a trip to one of the noblemen's castles. On their way, Maha gets sad and activates her mana. She escapes into the woods, but she's stopped by Torin's assistant, who also possesses mana. He tries to hurt Maha, but Lugh suddenly appears and throws him off. He launches an attack on Lugh, but Lugh easily defeats him. Lugh then hands Torin and his assistant over to the authorities for punishment. The noblemen who are involved in illegal human trafficking are also arrested. Lugh frees the rest of the girls and takes Maha home. Balor's son comes down with a serious illness, and Lugh uses his medical expertise to heal him. Balor thanks Lugh for all his help and says he is once again indebted to Lugh and House Tuatha. He then tells Lugh that he has finished the adoption process. Lugh's name has been added to the Balor family registry. He also added Maha's name to the list, and Maha is officially a Balor. Shortly afterward, Balor invites Lugh to his study and shows him the map of an abandoned store. Balor says he's tasking Lugh with the responsibility of rejuvenating the store. Balor reiterates that he's only doing this because he trusts in Lugh's abilities. Lugh accepts the challenge and says he's ready to give it a shot. After his conversation with Balor, Lugh informs Maha and Tart about his new task. He tells the duo that he plans to open a cosmetic store that will be able to attract the attention of noblemen. Later that night, it is shown that both Maha and Tart sleep on the same bed with Lugh to prevent loneliness. The following day, Lugh invites Balor and his wife to a closed meeting. Balor's wife doesn't like Lugh and wasn't really interested in the business idea he's about to bring. Lugh sets out his plan of opening the store as a cosmetic shop. He plans to make a product that other companies will not be able to compete with, due to the fact that the fantasy world doesn't have moisturizers yet. Lugh proposes the idea of making moisturizers. He brings out a sample for Balor's wife to test, and she immediately falls in love with the product. Balor also tests it out, and he is satisfied with it. Balor's wife says the product will sell massively because of its ability to preserve the skin's moisture. Balor's wife is forced to praise Lugh for the wonderful product. Balor wants to start mass production immediately, but Lugh says the ingredients he needs to mix the oil and water can only be found in Tuatha. Balor tasks Lugh with getting the ingredients so that production can go smoothly. Lugh travels to Tuatha to secure the ingredient that is gotten from soybean. However, he didn't reveal the details to Balor. Soon afterward, the cosmetic store named Orna starts growing massively. People all over the region and neighboring regions all come over to get the moisturizer. Maha hires her orphan sisters as workers in the store to help them leave the street. Tart informs Lugh that spies from other companies are trying to get information about the store, but they have not been successful. That night, a spy sneaks into Lugh's bedroom to kidnap in an attempt to get the formula for the moisturizer, but the spy is stopped by Tart and Maha. The duo captures him and starts interrogating him. Upon seeing that the spy is not ready to cooperate, he was terminated. A cutscene now shows the goddess sending another soul into the fantasy world 30 years prior. She checks his progress and sees that he's nothing to write home about. Back to our normal timeline, Lugh prepares himself for an unknown journey. Upon getting to his destination, it is revealed that he is there to visit Dia. He usually comes once a month to visit her. He uses his manner to transport himself to Dia's region. Dia is happy to see him and shows him the spell she has figured out while he was away. The duo have fun together, and Dia gets sad again when it's time for Lugh to leave. The following morning, Lugh wakes up to realize that he has hit puberty. He gets shy in front of Tart and Maha, but the duo assures him that they are always available to help him. Lugh thinks to himself and realizes that he didn't add this stage to his plans. On their way to get groceries, two of Maha's sisters are attacked by bandits, but Maha arrives just in time to save them. He warns the bandits never to come near his family again. This shows how much Maha has progressed in her training. Later, Tart hands over a pouch containing loads of buttons. She says the buttons are from the bad men she has killed. Lugh has tasked Tart with the job of eliminating bandits, while he gives Maha the task of collecting information and handling money. Soon afterward, Lugh prepares to leave Melatu because his 2 years of training as a merchant is complete. He hands over the moisturizers company to Maha. Maha then shows Lugh a map of an abandoned store in a neighboring town. She says the store will help them expand into other regions. However, Lugh soon realizes that Maha is also trying to get close to the man who murdered her parents and took over their family business. Lugh tells Maha not to allow emotions to cloud her judgment and agrees. Maha says she's capable of running the company and also taking down her longtime enemy. Just then, Maha's sisters enter the room. The group gives Lugh a goodbye present and thanks him for his help. They beg him to come visit them when he is free, and Lugh agrees. Later on, Lugh cleans off the dye in his hair to reveal his shining silver hair once again. Before getting into his chariot, Maha stops him and has a heart-to-heart conversation with Lugh. She also begs Tart to take good care of Lugh. As Lugh departs, Maha makes a pledge to always help and assist Lugh for the rest of her life. On their way home, Tart teases Lugh and says Maha doesn't like him as a sister or a friend, but as a lover. As the duo discusses, Lugh senses mana energy around. The chariot stops, and they discover that they are being attacked by monster wolves. Tart single-handedly takes out the wolves. Lugh realizes that the hero will soon surface because monsters are already entering human settlements. The duo resumes their journey, and they soon arrive in Tuatha. The people of Tuatha welcome Lugh with happy faces and also thank him for the help he has rendered to the community. Upon getting home, Esri's joy knows no bounds because she's finally able to hold her son after some years. After the pleasantries, Lugh goes to see his father in his study. His father praises him for performing excellently during his training as a merchant. Cheyenne says Balor visited him some days past and begs Cheyenne to persuade Lugh into becoming a full-time merchant instead of an assassin. Cheyenne then asks if Lugh is willing to become a merchant instead of an assassin, but he says no. Lugh thinks to himself and pledges not to carry out assassination orders. He vouches to only kill people that he wants. He would live a life of happiness that he wasn't able to enjoy in his past life. Lugh then confesses to Cheyenne that he is in love with Dia and would love to marry her someday. He can only do that if he is from a noble house like the Tuatha. After getting a satisfactory answer from his son, Cheyenne gives him his first task. He is to eliminate a nobleman who sells the kingdom's secret to other kingdoms in exchange for drugs. Cheyenne says he will not interfere or assist Lugh with his task. Lugh promises to do a perfect job and make his father proud. Upon receiving the target package and credentials, Lugh informs Tart of his mission. The name of the target is Count Asba Venkor, who trades drugs in his region. He profits from the selling of drugs while most of his citizens are living a not-so-good life. Lugh comes to the decision that he must make his own findings about Count Asba before coming to a conclusion. He sends a message to Maha to use her network of information to find out about all the shady deals about the Count. The following morning, Esri visits her son's room and tells him that Tart has told her about how he hit puberty when they were in Melatu. She tries to inspect Lugh's body, but he refuses. Later on, Esri brings a proposition to Lugh. She wants to arrange a marriage for him, but Lugh says it's a bad idea. Esri suggests Lugh makes out with Tart, but Lugh doesn't agree. Esri is in a hurry to see her grandchildren, but Lugh isn't ready to father any child at the moment. Up next, Lugh and Tart disguise themselves and penetrate the Count's town. Lugh plans to take a look at the situation of the town himself. A cutscene shows the goddess reincarnating another soul into the fantasy world 25 years earlier. As usual, the person isn't doing well and doesn't even have what it takes to defeat the hero. Back to the main timeline, Lugh and Tart enter the town to find a young girl with a basket full of hard drugs. Lugh collects the basket and smashes it on the floor. Some bandits who are in charge of keeping the drugs safe attacks Lugh, but he and Tart defeats them easily. The duo then asks the girl where she was taking the drugs. The girl says her mother needs it. Lugh and Tart decide to follow her and check on the mother. Getting to the house, Lugh realizes the mother is in bad shape due to her addiction to the drug. Lugh goes close to her and heals her from the physical effect of the drug. Lugh says it's all up to the girl's mother to now recover psychologically. Tart and Lugh return home to discover that Maha has sent all her findings to Lugh. Lugh goes through them and is finally satisfied that the Count is guilty and he needs to die. Lugh disguises himself as Illig, and he is accompanied by Maha to the Count's town. On their way, Maha urges Lugh to get closer to Tart because she loves him. Maha then confesses that she is also in love with Lugh. However, she is delaying her pursuit of love because she wants the cosmetics company to grow better first. She intends to use her success in the company to convince Lugh into being with her. Maha says there's nothing wrong if Lugh has a wife and other mistresses by his side. The duo arrives at their destination and is welcomed by Asba's wife. Lugh gives her a new moisturizer and she falls in love with it immediately. She plans to advertise the product to all her noble friends. Just then, Asba enters the room and welcomes Lugh. Asba says he has arranged a party in honor of Lugh. At the party, all the attendees are all interested in the new moisturizer. Lugh tries to interrogate Asba about his business, but Asba doesn't slip up. That night, Lugh and Tart approach Asba's castle from a distance. He summons a sniper rifle and waits for Asba to show up in the corridor where he enjoys gazing at the moon. While taking aim, Tart stays on guard to make sure the mission goes without a hitch. Lugh gets a clear shot and terminates Asba with the sniper rifle. He's about to leave when he sees Asba's wife rushing over to her husband's body. Lugh feels a little bit of regret, but shrugs it off and says this is who he is now. He vouches once again not to be a tool of assassination. He will only kill people who deserve it and nothing more. Lugh leaves the scene without regret, but says he will never forget what he did today. Lugh and Tart go on a trip to an uninhabited island to practice magic. As the duo returns to the mainland, they find Maha waiting for them. Maha welcomes the duo and informs Lugh that she has good news and bad news. Maha tells Lugh that she has found the divine treasure he has been looking for. The divine treasures existed before ancient times and cannot be destroyed. They can't be made by humans either, and they possessed immense power. Maha says the divine treasure she was able to find is the magic spear Galbol. Maha is on the verge of purchasing the spear from its owner. The spear belongs to a man named Setanta Magnus, who is also known as Cran's Hound. Maha puts it out that Setanta might be the hero. Now to the bad news. Maha informs Lugh that a civil war has started in the neighboring kingdom of Zweigel. House of Vicone, where Dia comes from, has even joined the war as a part of the kingdom's army. However, there's a soldier on the side of the rebels who is giving the kingdom a run for their money. The name of the soldier is no one less than Setanta Magnus. After receiving this information, Lugh visits Dia in her hometown. Lugh shows his worries about the war and offers to transport Dia and her family away to a safe kingdom where the war will not reach them. Dia gets upset and says she is not ready to leave her hometown because it is her duty to protect the people in it. Dia urges Lugh not to worry too much about it. She then suggests that they go out and have fun since her parents are not around. She decides to dye her hair like Lugh's hair. She makes Lugh pick a dress for her, but she ends up not wearing it. Minutes later, the duo is walking on the street and having a heart-to-heart conversation. Lugh suggests that they go to a restaurant to get something to eat. Dia is surprised that Lugh is familiar with most of the restaurants in Vicone, even though he's not from there. As they continue their stroll, Dia finds a teddy shop where you can win teddies as prizes. Dia asks Lugh to help her shoot a specific teddy bear. Lugh is about to use magic, but Dia stops him and says it's not fair to use magic. Lugh then decides to hold Dia's hand and let her shoot the bear. After several trials, Dia finally claims her prize. Upon leaving the store, Dia says she wants lasagna for lunch and Lugh takes her to a restaurant where they make lasagna. A cutscene shows the goddess reincarnating a soul 20 years prior. Back at the restaurant, Dia complains that the lasagna isn't good enough, and Lugh promises to make a better one for her when she visits Tuatha. After leaving the restaurant, the duo runs into a lost child. With the use of magic, they are able to locate the boy's mother and reunite them. Dia praises Lugh for being a kind-hearted man. Dia then suggests that they visit the town's pool. Dia has reserved all the bathing pools for them. Lugh is shy to enter the water, but Dia encourages him. The two have fun together while in the water. Dia talks about how courageous her father is and says she wants to serve the interests of Vicon as well. With the day coming to an end, the duo decides to say goodbye to each other. Lugh starts his journey back to Tuatha. Just as he departs, Dia orders the normal-looking citizens around her to feel free. The citizens take off their disguises, and it is revealed that they are soldiers. With tears rolling down her eyes, Dia mutters the words, "Goodbye, Lugh." Tart and Lugh arrive home to find a wounded man laying on the floor. They rush over to him, but Shan informs them that he has taken care of his wounds already. Cheyenne tells Lugh that the man brought an assassination task for them, and Lugh should be the one to do it. Cheyenne tells Lugh that the target is Dia Vicon. Lugh is surprised when he hears the target's name, but remains calm to hear all the information he needs. Lugh's father explains to Lugh that the Vicon army and the Swigel army lost in the war. Count Vicon has surrendered most of his land and wealth already. However, the rebels still want Dia because she's a powerful magic user and she will make a good mother. Count Vicon has decided to stop this from happening. He has hired Tuatha to assassinate Dia. However, there is a catch. Dia's father only wants the assassination to look real, but it's going to be a facade. If the rebels believe that Dia is dead, they will cease the siege on Vicon. It then occurs to Lugh that Dia already knows what's happening but chooses not to tell him. Lugh asks his father why he accepted the job and bent his rules. Cheyenne tells Lugh that he owes Count Vicon a debt. He would have preferred to carry out the mission by himself, but Vicon is far and his mana would have been exhausted before getting there. After looking at his choices, Lugh decides to accept the job. He gives 3 reasons for doing so. 1. He owes Dia for teaching him magic. 2. Lugh is in love with Dia. 3. Lugh has promised Dia to always come to her aid anytime she needs him. Lugh's father then lets out a secret. He says the only time he has bent his rule is because of Esri, his wife. Shan reveals that Count Vicon is Esri's father, and this practically makes Dia. This means that Dia and Lugh are cousins. Cheyenne wishes his son good luck as he prepares for his journey. Tart offers to assist Lugh on his journey so that he can conserve his mana and strength. Tart uses a wind spell to move faster while pulling Lugh with her. However, the spell is taking a big toll on Tart, but she's not ready to give up yet. She remembers how Lugh saved her, and this gives her more motivation to continue. Soon afterward, Lugh urges Tart to stop so that she won't harm herself, but she refuses. Tart keeps going till she finally exhausts all the mana she has. Lugh thanks her for bringing him this far. Tart begs Lugh to come back with Dia, and he agrees. After Lugh's departure, Tart falls to the ground and sheds uncontrollable tears. A cutscene from 14 years prior shows the goddess monitoring all the souls she has reincarnated. All of them fail to reach their potential except one. Now in the main plot, Lugh arrives at Vicon's castle and sees lots of soldiers holding the city on siege. Lugh summons a rifle and starts taking out the magic users among the soldiers. He changes location and uses the far stones he has been storing to create explosions that disrupt the soldiers' formation. The Vicon army then uses this opportunity to attack their enemies. Lugh conjures wind spells which he uses in contacting Dia in the castle. After contacting Dia, Lugh makes his way undetected into the castle. He runs into Dia, and the duo hugs each other passionately. Dia is surprised and happy to see Lugh. Dia's father is also pleased that Lugh showed up to help. Count Vicon explains the situation to Lugh. The city soldiers have refused to surrender, and instead, they lock the Count and Dia inside the castle to prevent them from giving up. Count Vicon says all that matters is for Lugh and Dia to escape without being sighted by both parties. Lugh reveals his plan to Vicon and Dia. They are going to deceive the people that Dia has committed suicide, and this will give Dia the opportunity to live under the radar. The trio sets the plan in motion. Lugh places the body of a female soldier inside the room. Dia is to shout from the window and lie that she doesn't want anyone else dying on her behalf. After she has said that, the room will be set on fire. As Dia stands by the window to say the words, Lugh senses that danger is around. Out of nowhere, a man wielding the magic spear Gabolg shows up. He throws the spear at the castle, and the spear projects so much energy that it destroys everything on its path. Lugh, Dia, and Vicone manage to take cover in the castle without sustaining any injuries. Lugh immediately creates a counterspell to fight the man. He conjures a powerful projectile launcher that fires a destructive round. He fires a round at the man, and the explosion caused by the hit shook the whole area. Dia is surprised at such a powerful weapon and confidently says no one can survive a hit from it. Just then, Lugh realizes that the attacker is still alive. Lugh immediately believes that the man is the hero. Lugh says it will be a waste to fire another round at him because it's not going to affect him. The hero requests a duel and promises to withdraw his forces and never touch Vicone again if Lugh manages to win. The hero introduces himself as Setanta Magnus, the same man that Lugh and Maha have been keeping an eye on. Back in Tuatha, Esri and Cheyenne receive word that the hero has shown himself. Now in Vicone, the hero warns Lugh not to try and run because he will only make him madder. Lugh decides to accept the challenge and fight the hero. However, he plans to make use of his talents to assassinate him. He conjures a powerful projectile which he sends into space. After this, Lugh and Vicone approach Setanta. Lugh informs Setanta that he has accepted his challenge, but they will need to get some formalities out of the way. Lugh plans to delay the fight till his projectile is ready to launch. Lugh introduces himself as Fairy, and you can see the urge on Setanta's face to just destroy Lugh. Setanta promises Lugh that Vicone will never be touched again if Lugh wins. He even promises to deal with anyone that comes near Vicone. Lugh keeps talking with Setanta to delay him. He also sends Count Vicone away when the projectile is getting ready to launch. Also watching the fight behind the scenes is the goddess. As the final seconds of the launch begin, Lugh flips a coin to signal the start of the fight. Setanta fires up his spear and goes on a full attack mode, but little did he know that a projectile is already aimed at him. Suddenly, the projectile hits Setanta, and this causes a massive explosion. Lugh explains that the projectile is fired from space, and it is similar to nuclear weapons. Upon re-entering the atmosphere, it gets engulfed in fire, and the spell will double the target's gravity. Lugh reveals that he has had lots of practice on the uninhabited island on how to accurately aim the projectile at his target. The effect from the blast is so powerful that even Lugh gets wounded in the process, but he heals up due to his rapid healing skills. Lugh feels amazing after defeating the hero. After the dust has settled, Dia runs over to Lugh and thanks him for saving her. He gets close to Dia and kisses her. The duo returns to Tuatha together. With everything going smoothly, Lugh reminisces about the events that lead up to the present moment. In the closing scene of the series, it is revealed that Lugh hasn't defeated the hero. It turns out that Setanta isn't the hero. The hero appears at the end of the series and he goes by the name Lord Epona Rhiannon. It is also revealed that Dia will now conceal her identity and starts living with Lugh under the guise of being her sister.